That's why the crown chakra is purple. It's mixing with the red, which is the lower part of a higher dimension. So in terms of your experience, when you activate that part of your consciousness and when it vibrates at that level, you begin to gain the experience of those dimensions that are beyond this one. And all the chakras in between, the one on the left, the red, and the one on the furthest right, the crown chakra, the purplish one, are describing the process of you unlocking those parts of yourself that give you access to those new experiences of who and what you are. So, what the chakras are is a visual description of those energy gateways that we pass through. And what that means is, as our consciousness speeds up, as our awareness increases, as we use more of our minds, we have more access to the information or the knowledge about what this reality is that is present in the experience of it. Now, this last one, the flower of life, it is one of the most important geometric descriptions of a form of consciousness because it is one of the oldest. It is one from which a lot of other ones come from. The flower of life design is actually describing in geometric form the vibratory rate of consciousness of all that exists. So earlier when we were talking about the Om symbol being, or the experience of that vibration being coming close to knowledge and experience of who and what the Creator is, this flower of life design is actually another way to represent the totality of being and existence and the experience of equalizing with that vibratory rate, or the average vibratory rate of everything in existence. The flower of life design is representative of the all, the totality of all that is in existence, and where everything in existence comes from. Just another example to help us understand what this means, music. Music is vibration. And when we hear it, it affects our moods and emotional states. The music itself is not, or the vibration itself is not emotion, and yet the experience of that vibration translates down into what we would call an emotion or a mood. So that vibration triggers an experience, and that experience is how we interact with that vibration. However, in order for that vibration to have any effect on how we feel, we have to make ourselves receptive or vulnerable to it. Meaning that, if, for example, if we're not in the mood for a particular type of music, when we hear it, it has no effect. Or it has an effect that is different than it would normally have if we had actually wanted to hear it. So what that means about your intuition and the level, for lack of a better term, on which the intuition or the experience of the intuition takes place, it means that we have to open up and make ourselves vulnerable to it. In other words, we have to be looking for it and actively cultivate it in order for it to have an effect on what we experience. Just like the vibration of music or whatever, we have to actually want to be hearing it for it to have a positive effect. Vibration on the level of intuition is extremely subtle, which is why it's so easy to ignore it and write this stuff off. But the truth about what this reality is, what intuition is, who and what we are, is contained within the knowledge that is contained within the experience of who and what we are. There is no need, and in fact, no ability to ultimately define anything about this reality. And there is, like I said, no need to do that. We do, however, have the need to know who we are. And the knowledge of who and what we are is contained within and intrinsic to the experience of who and what we are. When we open up to a greater awareness and experience of who and what we are, all of the problems that we have concerning our identity, concerning whether this existence has meaning, whether or not there is such a thing as the Creator, all of those questions get answered. But the thing about the answering of those questions is that they are answered in another dimension of the experience of who and what you are. They are not answered in the egotistical, intellectual way we would like them to be answered based on what we think is real. We have to experience what is real, then we will gain the ability to describe it. But, just like I was saying, we will never have the ability to ultimately define it. But we have had and always will have the ability to experience it.